What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is toxic relationships. And the type of toxic relationships that I'm speaking of is husband and wife, wife and husband, girlfriend and boyfriend, boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what I'm talking about. And the only reason why I'll be hitting this topic is because as of lately, I have been seeing a lot of toxicity within relationships being displayed in the streets of Chicago. So I want to talk about it. Now, first and foremost, I like to say that I have had my share of toxic relationships in the past, and um, I can tell you it definitely comes from not respecting one another's personal boundaries, not being respectful to each other, most importantly, not honoring one another, just stepping all over each other, just not taking each other serious enough. Because a toxic relationship is only toxic and there is toxicity because nobody's being serious about something. Obviously somebody needs to speak up, one or the other, so things can be addressed and be taken seriously because it wouldn't even be a need for toxicity whatsoever, you know. So I just want to say that, honestly, I really only speak on my culture a lot because my culture displays these things and I grew up around it and I see these things. Um, so yeah, black people, you know. And if you're another, culture and you've witnessed toxicity, within relationships or whatever, and you saw things, comment below. Um, Man, black people, see, a lot of this stuff it's really taught, you know. It's Well, I would say that it comes from what's being seen in the home, and whatever is being displayed in the home is going to be brought outside of the home, you know. So if your child is watching you in a toxic relationship, they're going to get older and think certain things is okay, and then they're going to have nothing but unhealthy relationships back to back to back to back to back because of what they saw, because of what they witnessed as a child. These toxic relationships is definitely a part of generational curses. Seriously, because it goes on, within the black community so heavily, and then they glorify it. That's the thing. Majority of the black community glorifies toxic relationships. And the only reason why it's being glorified is because it's being sung about and rapped about, you know? And so that's why I say it starts in the home. Because in order for an artist to be able to even be a part of a toxic relationship, to have to rap or sing about it, is because of what they've either witnessed with their own eyes or because of what they went through or what they're doing to someone. So with that, they make it into music, and then you got people following behind them, and then that's why it becomes glorified, toxic relationships. And then on top of that, I'm gonna be honest with you, and just flat out, I feel sorry for today's youth, seriously, because being that toxic relationships have been glorified for so long, you know, it has gotten way worse, to the point where Not only just the women, but the teenage girls and the little girls, they have absolutely no respect for themselves whatsoever, because the toxic relationship at home between their parents is being glorified and idolized. And if it's not toxic, it's something going on. You know what I'm saying? It's something going on to where someone in that home just don't have no respect for themselves. Because now look at the teenage girls. They all out here. It's peer pressure out here. These girls, these women, they have absolutely zero respect for themselves. And I mean, the spirit of Jezebel is all out there because of, I mean, people idolize everything, seriously. And to idolize toxic relationships is crazy. So now you got a bunch of, for instance, people look at me and my husband when we go in the stores, when we go in places together, and they just be looking at us like lost for words. You want to know why? Because the average 30-plus-year-old in a relationship is going to display toxicity to the public. Okay? And we don't do that. We ain't arguing in public. We ain't fighting in public. We ain't yelling and cussing at each other and dishonoring one another. We loving each other and we sticking together as a family. And they be in awe when they just see us, you might as well say they just be in awe, because people, I've had one person tell us before, she's a regular, she's a customer, regular, just like us. We always run into her. She was like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I have never seen like young black couples together, like strong like y'all. Usually when I see young black couples, they just not getting along. They fighting each other. They in and out the relationship or whatever. But y'all, y'all doing a damn thing, man. Stay strong together. Like, we get a lot of compliments overall in public, and then we get a lot of stares, like wicked, evil stares. You want to know why? Because people, they hate us for being right. They hate us for being right. They hate us for not, they hate us for not dishonoring one another. They want us to dishonor each other, to disrespect each other. And they hate us because they see positivity within the both of us. We coming around and we very cool people. We coming around and we literally making people laugh or whatever, And you're supposed to honor your partner, If this is who you decided that you want to be with, y'all should have mutual respect for one another, seriously. And if it's not gonna work, y'all should have the respect enough to part ways and still co-parent. Because see, a lot of toxic relationships, honestly, it's like a lot of baby mama, baby daddy drama as well. Seriously. Especially in the black community. My people, they out here just literally getting into it with each other, literally dishonoring each other, really looking at each other as the ops. And this is your baby mama, bro. That's your baby mama. Y'all had a child together. Same with her. This is your baby's father. So this your op. You know what I'm saying? And then they're putting one another's lives in danger, and then putting the child's life in danger just because of their hate for one another, just because they feel like, hey, even though you talking to this person and you talking to that person, I'm still gonna get some of that. Still, like, in order to move on and have a very healthy relationship with the next person, you must address the toxicity in the previous relationship and part ways successfully. See, people depart from one another with hate, you know, and then they get into these relationships with the other person, and then they hurt the other person that's actually good to them, because it's a this stronghold on them from the previous relationship that ended horribly. You know what I'm saying? To the point where now they're chasing after one another still, while both in different relationships with other people, hurting them, steady coming back to each other, laying down together, then after that fighting one another, disliking each other, and going back to their other partners, sleeping around with them. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of disrespect, dishonor, toxicity, and also a lot of, unhealthy things going on right there physically. You know what I'm saying? Because now y'all catching stuff. Because now you passing stuff around. Because you're steady going back and forth. And the sad part about it is the people that you're with, the new people that y'all with, they don't even know what's going on behind closed doors. They don't even know that y'all still sleeping around with each other. Toxicity. I'm gonna give y'all an example. Not yesterday, a few days ago, me and my husband, we was at the lakefront, with our child, just enjoying the weather, having a good time, taking pictures and everything, looking at the skyline, just having a good time. And we always see people casually walking past or jogging or walking their dogs and ducks or birds, whatever animal they got. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden we see this couple, they far down. But from a distance, I'm telling my husband, I'm like, hey, that look like so-and-so from a distance. I hope that ain't so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would literally you will hate to have to run into someone that you had stopped talking to a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? You would hate to run into them. So it's like, I'm steady like, man, I hope that ain't so-and-so, So anyway, we just sitting there and we chilling. We can sense something off from both of them, that couple, from a distance. We can definitely sense it. So we sat down. Because before they even started walking through that, before they even started walking along the lakefront, the vibe was good in the atmosphere. We was happy, people walking past like they always do, jogging, like I said, we still happy. They minding their business, we minding our business, whatever, But as everybody was like walking past and jogging and stuff, you know what I'm saying? We was kind of like running back and forth, dancing, just standing there dancing. We look down there and we see a couple. I'm like, man, I hope that ain't so-and-so. They look like so-and-so, And then he was like, let's just sit down so that when they walk past, we won't be in their way. All right, First of all, I immediately sensed from a distance that they were just very negative. Like, I don't know if they was being negative towards each other at the time. I didn't know if they was being negative towards each other or if they was just like negative people. When a person come around you, you could just feel their aura is negative. I felt that from a distance. And when they started walking past, we just still sitting down. So this dude, which I thought was a so-and-so from my past, but it really wasn't. There was some crazy stuff going on in their relationship. I'm gonna just say that, because first and foremost, you're dishonoring your girl and she's also dishonoring you. Why I say that? First and foremost, there is no level of respect in a relationship if, in my eyes, this is my opinion, if you can walk along the lakefront with your shirt off, showing your body, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that there's people that's going to be looking at you, and you have a girlfriend on your side, and she's just okay with it. You know what I'm saying? She's okay with that. But I can see in her eyes that she wasn't. That's the thing. So let me get to the point, because I know I'm taking forever. So I can tell that, you know, his girlfriend was very, one, embarrassed, hurt, and angry all in one when she walked past. She tried to put a smile on her face and make it seem like, this is my man, you know. And yeah, yep, my man, my man, my man. And I'm just looking at her like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I just find that disrespectful. You ain't about to walk along no lakefront with your shirt off, showing everybody your muscles and your body. You know what I'm saying? That's disrespectful. If we ain't together, that's perfectly fine. Or if we're in the pool or something, that's the only way. But just casually walking, no, that's disrespectful, you know? And I just, like, in order for her to be okay with that, there's some level of toxicity within their relationship. That's immediately what I started thinking when they started walking past. So I told my husband, I looked at him, I said, what do you think about that? No homo. He was like, nah, I wasn't even trying to look at dude, but on some real stuff, man, on some real stuff, that's definitely disrespectful. I said, same exact thing I was thinking. You know, he was like, yeah, because as your husband, I'm not about to be outside knowing that I'm going to come across in the public, I'm going to come across a lot of women that's going to be looking at my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to, that's only for your eyes to see, you know, that's disrespectful. And I said, exactly. I just don't, like I said, in order for her to be okay with that, there is some level of toxicity. Some level. And when y'all don't respect each other, that's a level of toxicity. And it's just working its way up the scale. And like I said, soon as I said that to him, we got up, got back down, started dancing. So we're looking, because they didn't already walk past us. They didn't got further down. We're looking. Guess what's happening, guys? They're fighting. They're fighting. You want to know why they was fighting and arguing? Because just like I said, that girl was no way near comfortable with him being out. He had to walk past me. Do you not? Of course she's going to feel some type of way. Of course. Of course. I would feel some type of way if my husband decided, no, I don't care what you say, I'm still finna go outside with no shirt on. Yeah, they can look at me if they want to, but that don't mean that I want them. It doesn't matter. I still feel like that's disrespectful. And it's a lot of women, you know, that is afraid to speak up because they might get hit in their mouth. I'm going to just say that. Because a lot of toxicity happens in relationships also because of physical abuse, verbal abuse, the constant arguing and fighting and breaking each other's hearts and breaking up with each other and coming back together. Y'all don't honor each other. Y'all shouldn't even be together. You shouldn't even be together at all. If you don't respect each other and have respect for one another's boundaries, there is no way that a relationship can work. When I tell you that relationship gonna start sinking real fast, it will. Especially when you have absolutely not an ounce of respect for one another. If you don't want him, Move on. Close that door. If you don't want her, move on. Close that door. But successfully. Successfully. And like grown adults. Hey, listen. I love you. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to possibly stop being in love with you and have love for you. I just don't know how this gonna work anymore. I can't do this anymore. We can still, talk from time to time, but I would just prefer for us to let this relationship go. If it's that bad, but why end it off in the worst ways though? Why? You want to know why? Because a lot of people are not disciplining themselves correctly before they enter into a relationship. They just go right into a relationship, not even caring that they're going to hurt the next person. You got to give yourself time to heal from that previous breakup that you just had. Marriages, though. Real quick, let me talk about some marriages. Let me talk about marriages. Because, honestly, people be married nowadays and they hate each other. Married and throwing each other's clothes all around the house. Setting each other's clothes on fire. Hitting each other. Cussing at each other. Hating each other's families. Steady having kids with each other and still cheating on each other and then separating and coming back together and doing the stuff over and over and over. Also, putting y'all jobs and careers before one another. You would invest all of that time into your career or your job, but not your partner, not your husband, not your wife. This husband or this wife came before you even got this job. So you're going to let a position cause a rift between your marriage, between your family, a job. People, see, in order to love your job also, because some people don't just love what they do. They just care about the money and what can make them happy and pay their bills. Some of y'all be using these jobs and these careers or whatever that y'all go to every single day of y'all lives as a way to get away from your husband or get away from your wife. Some of y'all are cheating on y'all spouses with the people that you work with, your coworkers. Some of y'all are lying to y'all spouses, saying that you're going to work, but you're sitting up, laid up with the next person. Some of y'all have hidden insecurities within that marriage, but y'all will never come clean and tell each other. Y'all is okay with keeping that a secret and taking it to your grave. And getting it to the point where the only type of time that you will hear anything about some insecurities is when you signing off on them divorce papers. Now you got everything to say. Everything that you've been hiding. Getting married and just separating immediately, soon as y'all have an argument or a fight, is like marriage is a game nowadays to people. It was never like this. I remember like way back when I used to go to a lot of weddings, I don't even know what happened to that. People just stopped getting married. Used to go to a lot of weddings. Marriages used to last a long time, They used to work through they used to make it work. Now it done got to a point where people getting married and signing them divorce papers. And then putting it on the internet and showing the whole world, me and my husband are divorced. Me and my, like, they literally have a whole profile based off of their marriage that they just hate so much. Now they ready for hot girl summer. Some of y'all getting married on accident and it ain't on purpose. And why I say that, it's because some of y'all getting married for the benefits. Some of y'all getting married to say you got a ring. Some of y'all getting married just to say that you married and to display it for social media. It's not a game. Marriage is not a game. Y'all watch too much reality TV. Seriously. Housewives of Atlanta, Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop. Turn it off. Turn it off. Y'all watching too much of that. This is not television. Whatever they do, that's what they do. You gotta understand. You gotta understand. When you get into a marriage, y'all supposed to really be in it for real. Make it work for real. Y'all gonna have some arguments. Y'all gonna have some disagreements. Of course. All relationships is not perfect. Y'all gonna disagree on some things. But you don't disagree on things to dislike one another and to hate each other and to want to fight each other and to just overall want to dishonor each other. That's not what you do when you love each other and y'all literally made a real commitment and really got married. What you're supposed to do is honor your husband and honor your wife. Honor one another. But people nowadays, they don't do that. I mean, I can't even tell y'all how many females I know personally that's around my age, seriously, that's married. They married. And it's females that I never thought would have got married. And guess what? Their marriages ain't working, baby. Their marriages ain't working. You want to know why? Because they're desperate for attention on social media. And they don't really truly love each other just because y'all was together for 16 years. Does not mean that you truly love each other. Because trust me, I've been in a 9.5-year relationship. And I thought that was love. The whole time it wasn't. The whole time. Oh, I got some experiences. Trust me. With some messed up relationships. You want to know why? Because the majority of the guys that I was in a relationship with, they had problems of their own. They had damn mommy issues, daddy issues, and just, undercover baby daddies. Like, just okay with being toxic. Because the era that I was in, we gonna go 2009, teenagers around that time, 2009, 2010, stuff like that. The glorifying and the idolizing of toxic relationships was up there, for real. So I can only imagine how it is now for the younger generation. And I saw some stuff out there. I saw some stuff. And it's just sick. The things that I see is very sick. I mean, when I tell y'all they is SE-actualizing the youth, because they know way too much. Way too much at such a young age. These little kids out here should not be knowing and doing the stuff that they doing at the ages that they doing it at. And that's only going on because of what's going on in the home. or what's being displayed to them overall. Whatever you're allowing them to do and watch and hear, they displaying it outside. And I see it, and I'm like, wow, what the, 10-year-old, 11-year-old boys, dreadlocks in their hair, pants sagging. They ready. When I tell you, it never really was like that in my era of growing up. Like, I would rarely see boys with, dreadlocks in their head. See, back then, they had braids and like haircuts and stuff like that. I'm seeing all these little boys nowadays with dreads in their hair. I mean, damn near every little young black boy got dreads in their hair, pants sagging. Yeah, I mean, man, what y'all doing? How are you raising your kids? And they can't even look forward to a healthy relationship because they start young, very, very young. They starting to develop the toxicity within them already very young. Pants sagging, 11 years old, little deep, little squeaky little voice, dreadlocks, the newest Jordans on, gun on their waistband. I ain't even lying to you. 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, they walking around here. When I tell you, they're walking around here with it on them. Little ass kids. Where's their mamas and daddies? In the house, being toxic with each other, sleeping with each other, and they not even in a relationship. How that work? How that work? Look what y'all doing to the youth. Look what you're doing. And then you sleeping with each other and you don't even care what your kids out here doing. They gang banging. They whoring around the little girls, 11 and 10. And little Jezebels. I'm sorry. Lord, forgive me. But they get it from the mama. Because she's single. And she ready for hot girl summer. Okay? So she twerking and doing all that extra stuff in front of her daughter. And she's friends with her daughter. How that work? She let her daughter go do whatever she wants. She treats her more like an older teenager than a little child. See, y'all be forgetting. They still kids. They not fully teenagers yet. They still kids. You got a teenager once they're in high school. Not when they 10 years old. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all really be, I'm telling you, these 10-year-olds, y'all, is out here acting like older teenagers. They act like they 17. Yeah, they out here twerking on each other now. See, back when I was younger, I ain't gonna lie, I was like 12, 11, 12. Back then, it was called juking. We was juking. You know what I'm saying? Why am I seeing 9 and 10-year-olds, 7 and 8-year-olds, little ass kids out here, little ass kids out here twerking on each other, not juking, twerking on each other, little booty shorts on, bro. This one girl that I seen. Then we're going to go back to the marriages because I done got off topic a little bit. This one girl that I see. Heavy set little girl. Little girl. But she's like my height. She heavy set. And I think she like 13. 12 or 13. One of them. And she bigger than me. She got all that. All that. And she be wearing the tightest, littlest clothes. She be having her shirt tied up in the back. She just really feel like she thick as hell. Come on now. Y'all know how we used to think back when we was younger. When we was teenagers and stuff. Oh, we think we, you know what I'm saying? Like, this girl, young as ever, bro. 6th grade, probably. 7th grade. She bigger than me. But she out there. She out there. And her sister is too. And her little sister looks like she's like 8 or 9. And then a little brother. They got a little brother. He about 4. That little boy bad as ever. He be cussing, throwing up gang signs. Meanwhile, his sisters, they over in the corner twerking on some little boys over there with the dreadlocks. With their pants sagging. Seriously. I see it. And I'm like, man. And then the parents ain't no way near around. But it's like 13 kids outside running around. Real talk. Doing whatever they do. Throwing up gang signs, cussing. Like, you know, throwing trash around in the neighborhood. Just bad as ever. And they parents too busy laying up together being toxic. And some of y'all not even married. But y'all just sleeping around. Sleeping around. Being in 1 and 2 week relationships and then breaking up. Like, ain't you 45 years old? How you in a relationship for 2 weeks? You can't even make this up, man. You can't make this up. I know this one chick. I know her personally. Every time we see her, mind you, she's 50 plus. Every time we see her, she always got a different story to tell us. Or something that had just happened. You know? Every time we see her. So the thing that she's going through is she's in a toxic relationship. She's not even married. You know, she was married. But I guess her spouse is deceased or whatever. So, you know, she's in just this very toxic ass relationship. And every time she sees us, she tells us that she done broke up with the person. And now they back together the next time we see her. And now she done found them in the bedroom with another chick butt naked. And, you know, just, then you found them in the bathtub off drugs. And, like, what are you going to do before you turn 60? What are you going to do? I mean, see, I learned about toxic relationships when I was in my 20s. And I steered clear of it. In my late 20s, I steered clear of it. I let it go. 9+ years for nothing, out the window. Did I let that ruin me? No, I didn't. I wanted better. I didn't want another toxic relationship. I wanted better. And that's what I ended up getting. You know? But y'all sitting in these relationships, grown as ever. I got it in my 20s. But y'all sitting in these relationships, grown as ever. 40, 50, 60 plus. Hopping out of marriages, getting into dating and, you know, online dating and, you know, blind dates and, you know, doing all of that. And I'm being, I understand. I totally understand. I just want to say this too. I totally understand. Some marriages just don't work out. Because it does get extremely bad to the point where, unfortunately, y'all gonna have to go separate ways. You know? I understand. All marriages ain't perfect. I do. But I'm talking about the people that be out here really just splitting up and getting divorces like it's some type of game for like some little stuff. It'd be little stuff that could have been worked on. Seriously. And y'all just really be sitting up here thinking it's a game. Like, marriage is not nothing to play with. That's something serious. You know, y'all became one together. Y'all supposed to love each other, man. Not hate each other. But Y'all out here grown as ever in these, you know, on again, off again, toxic ass relationships. And your adult children is seeing these things. Your older teenagers is seeing these things. And they're thinking, this is okay. Even though I hate it, you know. But they're so ruined mentally from seeing it so much that they go out here and they hurt other people. Unwillingly, unknowingly hurting other people. Not even understanding that they really messed up in the head from seeing all of that toxicity going on their whole life pretty much. At some point, y'all gotta really think about it. Man, I'm too grown and too old for this, man. For real. I'm gonna be honest with you. How old was I? I believe I was, 25? Yeah. 25. When I finally decided, no, 24, 25, when I finally decided that I had enough. I've had enough. I'm tired of the toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Just like we talked about in the live stream last night. And for those of you that didn't get an opportunity, make sure y'all go view our live stream from last night. At some point in your life, you're going to have to allow yourself to fall hard enough to pick yourself back up and piece yourself back together and create a new you. And that's exactly what happened to me when I was 25. They say you don't really get it for real, like you start getting the gist of everything about life and all of that when you hit 25. And I'm not going to lie to you. Honestly, it can happen anytime. It can. It's all about how you take those traumatic events in your life and turn it into some wisdom. Learn from it. It's all about that, you know? And that's exactly what happened with me. And I started taking everything so serious to the point where I started to gain self-respect, self-love, you know, for myself. I started to look myself in the mirror every day and say, you're beautiful. And you don't need nobody to really tell you that, because you know you're beautiful. You have an amazing spirit. And you don't need nobody to tell you that you're a bad person, because you know your right from your wrongs. You know what it is that you need to address and to acknowledge. Stop playing and show the real you. Because I'm telling y'all, at that time, around that time, I was brainwashed, man. I was a little brainwashed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie though. I've always been very smart. You know, in my life, I questioned a lot of things. And that's where I am today in my life, and why I just, look at the dark secrets behind everything that I've ever questioned in my life. So, but overall, like, I was a little brainwashed. I was definitely worldly, stuck in the matrix. And it was at that point in my life where I hit a curb. And I was like, hold on. Nah, man, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and I'm tired. And starting now, I am done with the BS. I'm finna show people that I am not playing. And I want me a real relationship, a good relationship, somebody that I know that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, have a family with, and I'm going to be somebody's wife. I just knew it, I knew that I was going to be somebody's wife someday. Did I know when? Not really. I knew it was going to happen eventually. I didn't make it like my main focus, but it did just happen. It did just happen. And I'm finally with someone that loves and respects and honors me. Someone that is very intelligent, hardworking, you know, that's a family man, that's masculine, that loves his children, loves his wife. Most importantly, hold on, always put God first through everything. That's who I'm with. And that's who I have deserved. Because I wasn't the best in relationships. But I can tell you, I didn't have intentions to get into a relationship just to hurt somebody. Like, that was never my intent, But it was guys that was getting in relationships with me to hurt me intentionally. Because that's why I say it starts in the home. To be able to develop some sort of toxicity within yourself, you have to have bad intent. That's why I say these young little boys out here with their pants sagging, dreadlocks, and I don't blame them. I blame the parents. It's the parenting. Seriously. My oldest daughter is old enough at this point to learn about relationships because, she's at a stage where, the liking is going on. The boys liking the girls and the girls liking the boys and stuff like that. So she's at that stage. So at that, they need to have these talks when they hit 6th, 7th, 8th grade. They need to have these talks. But I'm gonna be honest with you, we used to have crushes and stuff like that when we was in I ain't gonna lie, it really started when I was in 1st grade. Around my time, people used to have a crush on each other in 1st grade. But then it started progressing. And then people started claiming that they go together. We go together in 4th grade. So I can only imagine it's probably definitely starting very, very young. But, they need to have these talks when they 12 and 13 and 14 and 15, you know what I'm saying? Because you got these little boys out here, they parents not talking to them. Their parents don't love them enough to talk to them. They don't care about their children. They don't care what their children doing. They don't care if their children get caught robbing people at gunpoint and stuff like that. They don't care. They don't care if their son is out here, breaking hearts and getting these girls pregnant. Because I can almost guarantee you it's probably happening at the age of 14, 13. So they have to have bad intent, and being that they've already witnessed the toxicity in front of their faces at home all the time, within their family, dysfunctional ass family as well, on again, off again relationships, and they grew up on that. And so they began to grow up really hating themselves. You can't tell me you love yourself, because you don't love yourself enough if you out here disrespecting yourself and putting your life on the line for a gang. Real talk. These 12, 13, 14-year-olds and 11-year-olds need to know that. You ain't got respect for yourself and you don't love yourself if you out here with some little old booty shorts on and a half top twerking on Monte. Behind the doggone trees. You don't love yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm gonna go back before I end this video. I'm gonna go back to you started to develop the toxicity within yourself at a very young age from the things that you saw. And now you out here breaking hearts. Or it can be the other way around. You can get hurt by somebody that you was with and that you really thought that you was with. Somebody that you really thought that you loved. And that loved you back. And the whole time it wasn't even that. You wasted all that time. All them years. I understand. I know how it is. I know. I've been through it. All them years gone down the drain. I understand. But that should not give you ill intent to use that anger from a previous relationship and go step into a new relationship with someone that's gonna love you for who you are, that's gonna respect you, that actually wants to start a family with you, that wants to be with you forever. You don't go and break that person's heart because of what you went through in the previous relationship. People literally don't learn. They don't learn. I learned. And some of y'all out there may have learned too. You get tired of that. Don't nobody want to keep dealing with that. You think I wanted to get out of a toxic ass relationship and say, man, whew, I'm so glad that's over. All right, let me go on out here and be single for a little bit. And then in like 3 more months, I'm trying to get in another relationship with somebody that's going to do me right and treat me like a queen so I can break their heart. Make it make sense. I just want them out here looking stupid. You know, I want them to believe that we really together. I want to continue to hurt them. What? Like, come on, man. What's this world coming to? What's this world coming to? I'm seeing these toxic relationships way too often out here in the streets. People arguing with each other, busting each other windows, flattening the tires, fighting, you know, in the middle of the street, spitting on each other, disrespecting one another's families, putting each other's lives in danger, especially in the black community. Seriously. And, you know, I feel like, you know, it's so wrong. You know, I really feel like y'all really need to, you know, fix yourself, heal yourself before you enter into a new beginning. Because honestly, that's what I had to do. I had to fix myself. And I'm not going to make it seem like I'm perfect. I want to be perfect, you know? We should all want to be perfect. We should want to be like Christ. Seriously. I am not perfect at all. But I'm going to be honest with you. Me and my husband, one thing about us, we can have some disagreements and come back together and respect the hell out of each other extremely fast. We can disagree about a doggone football team. Get into a disagreement. No, that team better. No, that team better. What you talking about? No, that team better. That's not going to break us. We're having a disagreement, a debate, whatever you want to call it, but it's not going to break us. You know what I'm saying? We still going to sit there and watch TV together. If it's anything pertaining to our relationship or whatever that we happen to disagree on, we still love each other though. We still honor each other. we still right there with each other. Sometimes we do got to give each other some L. We can't be up underneath each other all day, every day, and stuck to each other like glue. Because I'm sure a lot of you people out there that be watching our relationship and stuff, y'all probably feel like, oh my God, they probably use the bathroom together. Like, geez, they probably take a shower together. Like, why is y'all really thinking of us in that type of way anyway? But I'm just saying, like, y'all make it seem like we stuck together like glue. Like, we're literally nailed together. Bro, I have to give my husband some damn space. He got to do the same for me. There is no way that we can stay stuck up under each other night and goddamn day. We are individuals. So we got to enjoy ourselves also. You know? He got to go do something that he like, which is basketball. And me, I do something that I like, you know, as well. So at the end of the day, I wanted what was best for me, not what was worse for me. I realized that, you know, I can show, because you know how, like, when you was in a bad relationship before, right? And then that person is just trying to tell you that you're such a horrible person, and they trying to prove to the entire world and all of their family and friends that you're a horrible person to be with, right? That's how it ended off. It ended off bad, you know? But this is how you know when you were the best person in that relationship. Even if you wasn't, you tried, you know? Because guess what? You end up in a new beginning with a person that happens to love you and you love them back, and y'all want to spend the rest of y'all life together, and y'all are in a healthy relationship. So now, who was the bad person in the previous relationship? Because now that person that you was with, your ex, now they out here hoe hopping, sleeping with any and everybody, breaking hearts all across the internet. There for everyone. Okay? So that's just the flat out truth. That's just the flat out truth. Seriously. The only way for any toxicity to begin is because y'all are not taking the relationship serious and taking one another serious. And whenever it gets to that point of, you know, either one of y'all not being serious with each other, you should not go deep into that relationship whatsoever. It should be over with. That's how I feel. And I ain't really go fully into toxic relationships and get y'all all of my past history of toxicity within relationships. But I can tell y'all one thing for sure. Respect one another. Honor each other. Stop allowing him to walk around with his shirt off. Stop allowing her to walk outside with these little old skirts and booty shorts on and showing off her body, showing off her boobs to the whole entire universe. Stop allowing her to have an OnlyFans. Stop allowing him to have female friends. I'm just being honest with you. I'm being honest. I don't believe in the little, you know, different opposite sex friendships. I don't. Me personally, I feel like that's also another sign of toxicity and disrespect within a relationship. You cannot have female friends. You know? They get too comfortable. You know? And then stuff like that starts to become a little, you know, fishy. We can have a female friend together, you know, and we ain't even got to exchange numbers. Hey, how you doing? Whenever we see them. No, I cannot have male friends. No, I cannot. I feel like that's disrespectful, and so does he. And we just know boundaries in a relationship. And when you know boundaries, you have to respect one another's boundaries. If y'all cannot come to a mutual understanding and have respect for each other on both ends and have respect for each other's boundaries, then how is it going to work? If you can't trust one another, how is it going to work? If you can't be honest with each other, how is it going to work? How? Just because you have a little disagreement with your partner does not make it okay to hate them, okay? If it get too heated, a heated little disagreement, why don't y'all separate? This is how you avoid toxicity. Avoid it, okay? Because it's lurking. It's lurking. It's lurking. So how you avoid toxicity is by respecting one another. It's by respecting one another. Seriously. Seriously. So I really want my bad, y'all. I got a little distracted. I was getting a message on my phone. But I really want y'all to learn to honor one another and to take something out of this little lesson. So I'm going to try my best to start uploading videos like every 1 to 3 days. Sorry for the background, y'all. That's my energetic daughter and her daddy. They out there playing. But yeah, I like to get to that 1 hour mark. Seriously, you know. Just begin to have respect for one another. Cherish one another. You know, honor one another. Seriously. If y'all have a little disagreement, separate. Maybe your husband or your wife or whatever, somebody can stay in the house with the kids or stay home and the other person can go outside, or maybe y'all can just, somebody go to the forest preserve and the other person can go to McDonald's and sit in there or whatever, the library, something. Or if you want to be adults about it, somebody needs to be the adult in the situation. I'm going to say that. Hey, babe, look, let's talk about this, okay? This is just the little disagreement that we had. It's uncalled for. All right. We're not finna let this put a damper on our day. I love you. We can talk about it whenever you're really ready to talk about it, but let's just try to move past this right now. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Me and my husband have a little disagreement about something, and guess what? We immediately be like, we already know the bad spirit that's trying to cause a rift. Nope, we ain't finna feed into it and let it happen. So from that point forward, we be like, hey, let's leave it alone. It is what it is. Come over here. Give me a hug. You know? Show each other love. Because I know sometimes you got people that be like, man, I don't understand, like, why we keep fighting, why we keep arguing, because it is a demonic entity that is entering one of you and jumping to the other one. And now you have 2 demonic entities going back and forth. Now y'all lashing out on each other. Now y'all smacking each other. Now y'all pulling out knives on each other, punching doors and walls and breaking glass and, yelling. And then you're making love. Then you making love after that. Now y'all back baby and boo. Now y'all cleaning up the mess, patching up the holes in the wall, and not even addressing that. See, that's the problem though. You don't even address that portion. Y'all just lay up together after all is said and done, all of the disrespect, all of the dishonor. After all of that, now y'all laying next to each other. Not even respecting one another, not even respecting yourself. Now y'all baby and boo and, buying each other McDonald's and Wingstop and gift cards and whatever. Going out to eat with each other. But then, soon as somebody hit a hump in the relationship, and I'm talking y'all so on the edge, really, y'all really walking on eggshells, really, to the point where to the point where any little thing, it's like a volcano erupting. You know? Any little thing can mess up the bond, the toxic bond between y'all. And next thing you know, it's more toxic. And then when each thing piles on top of that, you begin to grow to hate each other so much that now it's a life or death situation. Seriously. But that pretty much sums it all up, y'all, for this topic. I don't want to, overstay on this video. So I just want y'all to do me a favor, hit the thumbs up for this topic. Make sure that y'all comment in the comment section. Please be respectful. I respect everybody's opinion. I feel like everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Tell me what you believe, what you think about toxic relationships. And don't forget to subscribe. Nevertheless, our slogan on this channel is wake them folks up.